Welcome back to Q3 Week 5 Day 2. Let's face it, today we are going to finish building in the face of our character. That includes building the eyelids, building the lips, and building the inner mouth. We're also going to connect the neck to the head. And then tomorrow we'll move on to the ears and the hair and learning how to use Turbo Smooth to make the whole thing look a lot smoother. All right, so let's get cracking. We're going to start where we left off yesterday. We've got the basic general setup. Zoom, there we are. So, like we said before, your face features are going to be different than mine, and that's fine. For today, the first thing we're going to do is finish up the face. So what we're going to do here is we are going to grab this entire section here. I'm going to go in, hit the number 3 so I can grab my border. And then actually I'm going to hit R so I can scale in. Make sure you're using either selecting uniform or selecting non-uniform. Hold shift and then just pull in like this. So this is going to make the actual eye hole. Okay. When you're done, let's move into vertex and actually see if we can build in the actual shape. So at this point I'm just going to move the verts around, trying to get the basic shape. If your image is higher resolution, that will be helpful for you. Mine is not, so I've got to deal with what I've got. So let's do that there. Good, good, good. Try and make the gap, the holes as sort of even as possible. Try and get as close as you can. There. Alright, cool. From the left, I want to move this forward. Now you will want this to sort of have this arrowhead shape because that's more along the lines of what we're going to be looking for as you build it through, kind of like that. There, from the front, let's see how that looks. Not bad. Bring that down a little bit. Once again, we've sort of got to make the difference from left to right, and that looks pretty good. Left. So that's sort of the shape we're looking for. This maybe even can come back in a little bit, like that. This could probably come in some. That could smooth out. Try and move back a bit. Front, zoom. Okay, cool, cool. Once again, we need to sort of split the difference. Obviously, the concept art will be slightly different from one side to the next. So you're going to have to sort of average that out as best you can. And as long as you're sort of keeping track of how it looks to you, it should be fine. I don't want that to be too distorted. I'm probably going to add a second loop in here just to make it a little better, or at least give me a little more geometry to work with, because I don't want it to be too drastic of a change so that the face is, like the one face on the inside is too warped. Alright, cool. Let's do it again. So now that we've got the basic eye shape like that, that looks pretty decent. There you go. Alright, I'm going to grab the hole again, and I'm going to extrude again. Or not extrude, actually scale, hit shift, and bring it in. And this time, I'm going to go to my verts again, select all of them. And what I'm going to do this time is I could sort of make it, what I need to do is build the inside of the eyelid, which is very tiny. And there's a couple ways I could do it. In my model for today, I'm just going to make it super cheap because I'm not too concerned about how it looks in general, because I don't want to get too expensive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my modeling tab, go to geometry, and then collapse it all. And then I'm going to hit W and just pull it all the way back like that. Okay. This gives me a very creepy sort of hollow eye look, which is okay for now. All right. If you want, you can grab all that. Oy. Grab all of, come on. Grab all that. Deselect that. I'm going to make sure it's its own smoothing group. So everything else up until now has been, I think, 5. I can do that. And that. No, 3. Ugh, this whole thing needs to be its own smoothing group. So I'm just going to make it all 5. Why? Because it was 5 on another model that I did. I don't know. 5 is good for now. So there. So that's that. Anything that I want to be separate smoothing groups, I'm going to build that out now, like this. The nostril that we made yesterday, I'm going to deselect that and make it 4. And then same thing with this. I'm going to hit W, actually Q, so I can select all those, deselect those, and make this, instead of 5, it's going to be 4. All right, cool. Good. Now the eye is basically done. The next thing we need to do is build an eyeball, since we're here. We're going to make that a separate object, so go into Sphere, and then create an eyeball that's that big, as big as it needs to be. And notice I built it on the other side, so I didn't accidentally select anything over here. Segments, doesn't really matter. I'm going to go with 16, I think. That looks good. I'm going to, now to make it a little more efficient, I'm going to convert it to an editable poly. And then I'm not going to need all of it. So I can select it and hold shift. Actually, I'll select this, hold shift, and grow it twice. And that's probably all of the eyeball I'll need, just that front part from the front. That looks about right. Cool. So now I'm going to select this and then click attach, click on the eyeball, and look at it, make sure it's positioned in the right spot, right where I want it. I'm going to grab this element, and I'm going to move it up a little bit, and then move it over. Oops. I held shift as I moved it over. I'm going to cancel. Delete that. I didn't want to. We can always rescale this later. When you rescale this eyeball, though, you want to pretty much make sure that you're doing it as a full object. And you do it from a scale that makes sense. Now I'm going to move that forward so it sticks out there. And now from the left, I'm going to make sure that everything lines up appropriately. Cool. So you'll notice the nice part about building a sphere like this is it sort of forces us to take the spherical nature of the eyeball into account. Which means we need to look at our geometry over here, especially this border section. Actually, this section, that loop, and sort of pull it forward a little bit. I'm going to grab the eyeball and move it back until it lines up with where I think the eye should be. Then I'm going to grab any verts that I need to and make sure they're moved forward where they should be, so that they're not intersecting the eyeball. Once again, at this point is when you should really decide, or at least think about, okay, how is this going to, where is it going to play, where is it going to be? There. How much is it going to stick out? Okay. Now if you hit material, throw a real material on it, especially you can get a better look at how it's going to look and how far the eyelid is sticking out. The roundness of the eyeball is going to help shape our actual eyelid because it'll force us to keep that in mind. So basically I'm just moving along the y-axis to make sure that the eyelid isn't like ridiculous. There. And also make sure that it's sticking out enough to cover the eyeball without having too much extra geometry in there. Cool. Now a lot of that is really dependent on proper positioning of the eyeball, but that looks pretty good. Right? It makes you realize how far your eyes are inset, and it also can help you here because we're going to need to sort of average those out. I think I'm just going to select these two and that one, and I'm going to average it. Geometry, relax. And then there. Now I can pull it in a little bit if I want. That down a little bit, maybe that in a little bit. Remember how we talked about the wagon wheel spoke? Same sort of concept. See how that sort of applies. Alright, cool. Alright, good. It's a good start. Now we may have to come back here and massage this a little bit later, just to make sure that it's not, it's working the way we intend after we add some smoothing to it. There. Alright, and if we hit F3 we can see how much clearance we have on our eye. We may have to take the eye itself and then add another loop. I may have cut it off a little too short. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Alright, cool. Next part. Bring in the mouth. So we've got this outside lip portion, but we really also want to use the border and actually create the lips themselves. So I'm going to cap that like we did before. I'm going to connect this and connect. Okay, cool. Grab that, delete it. Grab this section here, this face section, hit 4, grab that. Now we're going to inset again. Yeah, well, let's try it the other way. Let's go ahead and grab the edge itself. Not that, but grab all these corners from the front, zoom, and then R, shift in. Right, W. Okay, grab that vert, bring it back on X0, grab this, exit out 0, and then start looking at how the lips are actually formed. So I'm going to try and outline the actual lip form now, not just like the mouth shape. If we need more geometry, which we probably will, I can get it from the center line because I really kind of just wanted more geometry through the center line. It'll help define the nose as well, especially this middle line, because I think I can grab all the way through this and it'll come back down. If I wanted to, I could also pull it from here. I could make this into a quad. It's not a terrible idea, actually. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and grab these edges here, 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 and there. And I'm going to connect them all. And then I'm going to grab this and select that and connect it. Which means I can take this. This I'm going to move along that plane. And this edge is going to become a quad by adding a vert and then connecting that. So now when I take this and remove it, that becomes a quad. And it gives us we still have tries, and that's okay. But what I really wanted was that position where I can add the lip, the little heart-shaped lip portion right here, down. That'll also allow me to get that groove that runs in the middle. Left view. Front zoom. So I'm trying to actually outline the outside of the lips. Once again, the concept art from left to right, or from front to left isn't 100% accurate, but it's close enough. We'll just have to sort of make the best of what we got. Alright, cool. Now we do the same thing. Grab that, hit R, shift it in. This will actually be the lip proper. Now you can go as much detail as you want on this. This is actually where I'm going to bring it in. Down to the actual line. I'm going to relax out that. Left view, old pucker face. There we go. Once again, I'm looking for just the basic, sort of basic shape. I'm actually going to extrude this out some in a second. I'm going to take the entire lip and make it a little more, just a little extruded. So once again, from the front, you should be able to loop it like that. And then extrude. I'm going to extrude it just the slightest bit, like 0.01. Click OK. And I'm going to shrink it a little bit. And then I'm going to grab these and delete them. W, move them back to center. Same here. I'll still have to look at it from the left to right and modify it. But this will give me at least some definition to the lips. I don't want it to be a hard edge there, so I'm going to fix that here in a second. At this point, I'm trying to get like the actual pink portion of the lip. I go negative on that? Or it just came out weird? I'm just going to grab all this and move it out a little bit from the left. There. That's fine. I'm going to grab the inside edge here. And just pull it in like that. That's going to be the inside of the lips, which I'm not too concerned about. Cool. Left. Front. Zoom. W. All right, cool. Once again, I'm looking at smoothing groups. I'm going to go down. This is, I thought the whole face was, oh yeah, the whole face is 5. So I can just add all this to 5. Now I will probably want to add a second loop here, or at least something to make this work a little better. Also, make sure you're looking at this from multiple angles. As always, most of the geometry there. F3 to see through it. Zoom. Okay, cool. So to create the inside of the mouth, which is one of the last things we need to do besides connecting the head to the neck today, to create the inside of the mouth, the easiest way to do this is, well, there's 2 ways really. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and cap the inside like this. So I'm going to grab that and cap it, and then I'm going to grab these 2 on the edge, which are the inside of the lips, and connect them. Then I can grab this outside polygon, delete it, which allows me to get this, and from there I can extrude it in like that, and then I can grab these faces and these faces, so I should have all of them. Let's see, actually I'm going to grab, yeah, let's go ahead and grab that one, and that one. Hit W. Good. And I'm going to turn off, it's hard to see right now, so I'm going to go to my object properties and get rid of backface cull so I can actually see things. Grab that one, and that one, and move it down a little bit. Cool. I can delete this. Alright. So we don't need a whole lot of space in here. I'll grab those 3 again and bring it back down because I want there to be some semblance of an inner lip. So those, that one, that one, that one. I'm going to hit F3 here in a second so I can see the other side. Cool. Cool, cool. Now I'm going to move that forward a little bit because that'll be the inside of the lips. Now I can hit those and I'm going to extrude. Not nearly that much. Bring it back a little bit. Same thing down here. Do the same thing, extrude. Hit W, pull it back some. Alright, now I just need to make sure the geometry works. So, once again, we're not too concerned how this looks, as long as it functions properly. So this needs to be deleted, this needs to be deleted, and then we need to just sort of clean up all the weirdness on the inside. Which means we should take this back face, delete it, and then do some target welding. So we're going to target weld from there to there, from there to there, from there to there, and from there to there. Alright, and now if we want to take this edge, I got too many. I just want this area. I'm going to consolidate it together in one line, and then just move it back so it's a little more in the right direction, or in the direction we want it to be. It doesn't really matter because I don't plan on doing a whole lot of, we're not like adding a tongue or anything like that. Make sure that's X'd out at 0. Same thing with these, so that when we weld it back together it's going to be fine. And it probably got messed up while we were adjusting things and extruding things. That should be good. I'm going to hit Q to make sure I don't move anything. Actually, then I couldn't see my numbers. Alright, good. Good, good. So from the front, now we have a mouth. Cool. Cool, cool. Last thing, connect the neck. So we are going to unhide all. We're going to see where this connects and how much geometry we have to work with. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and select this and hit attach. We're going to attach that so it's all one big happy family. And then I'm going to go into polygon. So let's see, I've got from the left. So what I'll definitely want to sort of figure out how many edges I've got. I can actually start deleting stuff, but I probably want to wait and figure out how many edges I'm going to need to add. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need 3 loops in the center. You may need more or less. You can add as many as you need. Loops, insert loop. And you can start sort of moving them around and getting them where you want. At this point, don't worry too much about the geometry of the head. You will need to sort of decide where your loops are going to connect. This is pretty easy actually, because I'm going to connect that there. So all that's going to go. I'm going to delete that. And you can actually start target welding almost right away. And it's not going to look great right away, but that's okay. I'll target weld from there to there. Target weld from there to there. Target weld from there to there. I'm going to go from the back now, forward. There, there. There to there. There to there. Okay, so now I've got 3 verts. So that means this one's going to go to here. Did I do 2 to 1? Yeah, I think that'll be better. And then I'll connect that through. That's going to go to there. That's going to go to there. That's going to go to there. Cool. All right, cool, cool, cool. Now at this point you can also sort of determine, okay, I want to get rid of that one, and that's going to connect in through there. So we can continue that line through target weld. Boom. Boom. So I'm going to add another loop through here. Insert loop. And then F3 so I can see through it. Weld. Good enough. All right, cool. So now I need to sort of even out the topology, and I'm done for today. From the front. So left. Let's go ahead and see if we can see through some of this. So M for material, grab this, drag it on, and start moving. Now we're just basically pushing and pulling verts to make it so that all this makes more sense. Grab those, I'm going to relax those. There we go. And don't, I've said this before, but if you feel like things aren't flowing the way you want them to, you can grab a couple edges, connect them, and then say, okay, that's going to come up here, and then grab these two and connect them. So that makes a little more sense. Once again, we need to define the face shape. We don't want to screw that up. Grab that, move it up, smooth that out a bit. I think I'm going to take this here. I think I want another loop that comes through there. So grab all those, insert loop. I think I'm going to connect them. That way I can sort of connect from there to there. From there to there, connect. All right, cool. And I can remove that and then connect these two. Connect. And this is going to be sort of my head definition line. Through there. And then I think from here I'm going to have a try right here. So I'm going to take this and remove it. If I can get a quad. I can get a quad out of that. Well, that's already going to be a quad. So I can grab this poly, remove it or delete it, and then I can grab that gap and cap it. And then take this section here and connect it. From left view, all right, and once we have the basic geometry laid out a bit, maybe I want that to go. I think I'm going to, for this, I want this try not to be here. I would rather it be back here, where it's going to be less visible. I could loop it all the way through. Let's do that. I'm going to connect all those, and then I'm going to take these two, connect them, and then I can get rid of this try altogether. See? Yay! All right. And this can be a little... Alright, now we look through it and look for weird things like that, where we've got this happening. So we've neglected the side of our head for a while, and now we're paying for it because it looks really weird. Through here, I'm going to grab all those and all those and all that and all that, and I'm going to relax it. There we go. All that, but I got to be careful about relaxing things on the edge. So I'm going to do that. And then remember, when we relax stuff, it tends to come in a little more than I like. Relax. So I'm going to grab that and move it out some. Alright, cool. Alright, I think that's it. From the front, here we are. Left. This could probably come back some. Probably come back some. Alright, great. Now, just to sort of check our work and see how we're doing, final thing, I'm going to hit M, I'm going to grab this and drop it on there. And I'm going to sort of go to this position and render just to see how it looks. Looks okay, except for that weird face down there. So I'm going to grab all those, make sure they're all the same face, and I can tell because they're not. Because I just want 5 lit up, right? I think, yeah, let's go ahead and grab all of it. My head's still a little square. That's okay for now. We'll adjust that a little bit. I'm going to grow and deselect those, and I'll grow again. Deselect all that, that, and then if I select those, I should be able to grow one more time, and then deselect a little more. And I can make this all one smoothing group. And I know it's, we still need to do the eyes and the lips and stuff. I can probably do that and these and this. Okay, next thing we're going to do after I grab all these is use the Symmetry modifier to double check. So instead of 5, we're going to go with 4 on these inside portions. And now for the Symmetry modifier, if you go to the front, make sure nothing's selected. Go to modifier list, SYM for Symmetry. Select OK. If it doesn't mirror right away, that's okay. You probably just need to adjust this. If it's not mirroring the right direction, you can flip it, or if it disappears, you can hit the flip button. All of these, if you just sort of experiment with these, you should be able to get to the point where you're flipping. You should be flipping theoretically along the X line and see how we're looking. All right, so we're a little blocky. We're not still okay. We've got some work. I think in general it's a little flat here. And it's probably a little too thin here. That needs to come out. And then the chin probably is too thin. The nose probably also needs some work too. So at this point, it's going to be you working on your own model to try and make it look more like you. And you can always take the Symmetry modifier and delete it so that you can work back on this. Or if you want, you can go to Symmetry modifier, go to editable poly, so click on that, and then it'll disappear, right? But if you press this button, it shows show end result. Click that on. Even though you're in the editable poly modifier, Now if I adjust one edge, it adjusts both. See it running on the other side? That can be really helpful when you're trying to get this working. So that's good. Also, at this point, when you're really working on your own facial features, it could be helpful for you to work on, let's see, using the smooth modifier, or the soft select. That could be very helpful if you're trying to just get the basic shape of things. Soft select could be very helpful. So don't forget about that. And that's basically it. Like I said, at this point you're trying to make your model look more like you, or more like the art you've been given, or you decided upon. Front view. This is nice because you can grab just these edges and sort of figure out, okay, that probably should be up there. This should be up here. That could be out like that. It's also difficult because we're trying to avoid moving the there we go. That is quite a chin. Be careful as you do this, though. You don't want to go overboard and mess up something. Also, look for vertices that are pointed like that. We don't want that, so I have to bring that in so it works a little better from the left view. If it's coming in too much, that could be a problem. You want that to be smoother, sort of like that. If you've got geometry issues, like, I'll bring that down a bit. There, that's sort of better. It's getting there. Also, if your center line's off, you'll be able to tell because you'll have two vertices here. One's going to come across the line. And yeah, so at this point, keep working on it. Make sure you don't have a weird lump in your head. Things like that. And make sure your head's not too square. And then we'll see you next time for the final touches like the ear. And we're going to extrude some hair and do other stuff like that. So go ahead, keep working on your model. Make sure it's round. You round out your bean, and it looks pretty good. And once you've got the symmetry modifier, you can also sort of render it out and see how it looks. If it looks okay or not. Keep working with it. At this point, you could probably spend like an easy hour or two just trying to make sure that the features are a little closer to what you look like. A lot of that's going to happen when we start smoothing it out. But the basic geometry needs to be there before we start on that. So you want to have a decent sort of look at how you're at. Don't worry if there's some edges that are like really sharp. That's not terrible. We'll be able to adjust that later. All right. Yeah, the symmetry modifier will help a lot, especially when it comes down to the details. We've never really messed with it yet because we haven't had something that's so detail-oriented, I guess. But this will be a good sort of attempt to get going on it. All right. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.